A couple days ago, I was out in Austin, Texas, and I did a podcast with a group of guys called the Drinkin Bros. They just sent me over the video. I did the very best I could to cut out all the cuss words, and there's a lot of not family-friendly content on here. So if you're under 18, get your parents okay to watch this because I don't want to get in trouble with anybody. So, Drinkin Bros. Coming up.
Welcome to Drinkin Bros, kids. We got a real live pilot on the show, D'Anthony.
Yeah.
A real live pilot or pirate?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you prefer?
I have my training partner when I went through flying the 747, he calls us pirates. So.
Is that like a speech impediment, or is he just
no,
like really into to Jack? What's his name?
Jack Sparrow?
Sparrow.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, he calls us pirates. So.
Did you ever see that fucking music video that Lonely Island did with Michael Bolton?
It's great.
This is the tale. Hilarious. One of the best. Go look it up.
Of Tortuga.
Isle of Tortuga.
Yeah, the Isle of Tortuga. It's amazing. I don't even know your real name. I only know you as 74 Gear. I'm sure you get that all the time, right?
Yeah, I've had people walking down the street scream out, 74 Gear.
Yeah. It's great. 74 Gear. That's it.
That's it. Kelsey.
Yeah, but nobody knows your last name.
Nope, that's been out there too. I did a radio interview and the guy put it on there, and then a few journalists that published it, but I don't ever put it out there, but yeah.
Yeah. You have one of the biggest aviation channels on YouTube.
Mm-hmm, yep.
How wild is that?
Weird. Yeah, it's weird. I honestly, I started it, I was doing these layovers. We were doing Hong Kong to Delhi and back.
Okay.
And it's a really, I didn't enjoy it because, you're flying all night in that airspace, you're going over a lot of people that don't speak English very well, and then you're flying all night and flying all the way back, and then I'd have 2 days in Hong Kong. It was middle of summer, and it's kind of like New York, but hot and humid. It's like New York with Miami's weather. So during the daytime, I was just kind of hanging in the hotel, and I thought, well, I should just do something. Maybe I'll just make some YouTube videos.
So, I mean, it was join the Communist Party or
right.
YouTube.
Yeah. Either one. So
right. So
the other one,
I think you chose wisely.
There's a lot of paperwork in joining a political party and stuff. Nobody wants to do that.
Tons. Or you can just take over a city in a day and just kind of, you're good to go there. 677,000 subscribers. How many years ago did you get started?
About 3 years ago.
About 3 years ago.
Yeah.
It's weird. We've been doing this about 6, and we've had 85,000 subscribers for, maybe a good year now at this point.
Yeah,
it's a grind.
You haven't had like Alex Jones on your show at all, right?
No, probably not.
That probably had something to do with it.
Yeah.
No. Well, I just
or Milo.
I'd love to hear. I talked to Alex yesterday. I would love to hear his thoughts on the airline industry. It's like, hey, this is what I want to do. I just want to free flow with him, just to pitch him topics. I'm like, go.
It's odd. The reason I ask and why I say it in such a downer way like that.
Yep.
Anybody who tries to have like a YouTube following will fail. If you just do it in your hotel room and just say, I was bored, every single person that comes on the show has got a huge YouTube channel.
Right.
Same exact answer. The rest of us who are spending all this money on this fucking bullshit and all these people, it means nothing, like zero.
It's a lot of work, though. It's a lot of effort. But a lot of times people say, "Oh, well, what is a lighting setup? Your lighting's fluctuating." I'm like, "Yeah, it's called the sun. I got it next to a window at the hotel. That's my lighting setup." They're like, "How do you travel around with all your lights?" And I was like, "I got a camera and then the sun, and that's basically it."
Yeah, we were literally on the phone. We have been for like the last 2 months with some Vietnamese kid who's charging it. Whenever you get like, hey, we've got to charge you in USD, it was just like, oh, was there something else that you were hoping for? Great. And he's working on our YouTube now. We've picked up about 18 subscribers in the last 2 weeks, so I feel good about that.
The direction you're going?
All of it.
Yeah.
All of it. Luckily, our bread and butter is audio, right? So you're hoping this algorithm or whatever it is flips, and then you get a gajillion people, and then we could literally double business overnight. But for you, when was the flip for you when it was just like, oh, I'm getting so many subscribers, this is crazy, I got to turn my phone off?
So it was maybe, I did this Hollywood versus reality where I break down these movies, right? And I had I had gotten an email from a guy that said, hey, can you do this, explain this movie? Was Sully real, is what he said. Can you explain if Sully's real? And I just emailed him back. I was like, yeah, Sully was real. Like, that was it. And he's like, no, but like, break it down on your YouTube channel, explain how it's real or not. I was like, what? Okay, sure. And I did it. And I recorded it in Germany, and then I uploaded it, and not paying attention. You know, you can schedule the time.
Sure.
I wasn't really paying attention, and I was, I don't know, jet lagged or whatever. And I scheduled it, and it launched at like 3 a.m. or something. I was like, well, that's a pretty terrible time for that to go. So I just kind of wrote it off as it would never go anywhere. And then I think it was like Christmas morning, I woke up, and I'd gained like 3,000 subscribers in a day or something like that. And I thought, whoa, like this is like, and that, to me, that was a massive jump, right?
Look, for us, holy shit, I'd feel like I'm with Buzz Aldrin on the goddamn moon over there.
But, you know, I did this TikTok roast where I roasted all these TikTokers a couple months ago. People were say, hey, is this real? Is this real? And I'd been seeing these people do this, and I just had enough. And I said, all right, I'll just make a video explaining that this is not real.
Sure.
And so I went out and I roasted a lot of these TikTokers, and I didn't really think anything of it. But then I woke up one morning and I looked at my phone, and I'd had like 100,000 views in an hour. And I thought, uh-oh, like that's a lot of views to get in an hour.
Oh,
and I
yeah.
thought, I don't know, a sex tape leaked or something. I didn't know what had happened, but I thought it was something bad. And I just looked, and it was there was comments every 5 seconds on that video. And then that thing went viral. And it has
Here's what I got out of
6
that
million
whole,
views.
Here's what I got out of that
And
whole story. When you saw the channel blowing up, your first concern was that a sex tape had been released, which tells me that one exists.
Yes.
Otherwise, that wouldn't even have been
No
a threat.
one brings that up unless it's somewhere on a laptop.
Right.
Yeah, well,
usually you're going viral for something bad, right?
Yeah.
That's typically,
Yeah.
It's not like, hey man, that was so great what you did. That's usually not what everybody, you know, so that's why I thought instantly something had gone wrong.
Look, who's had a sex tape leak though in the last 20 years, and it's worked out poorly for them?
Correct. Kim.
Hulk Hogan.
There's a couple of
No, not really. He made a lot of money
He's
on that.
$140 million richer now.
We didn't know.
And Gawker is coming.
until,
Gawker's coming back. Well, I mean, look, what did Kim Kardashian know about that situation?
Right.
Either, right?
That
You know,
it could have worked. It could have not worked.
I heard the mom was in charge of that, and she was just like, look, if we're going to put this out, let's go ahead and make this 50-50, because they still get residuals off of it.
Did her mom put that out?
So here's what I heard, right, behind the scenes, is that it had kind of gotten out.
Right.
And there was the decision of like, look, do we release this professionally and then try to monetize it, or just kind of let it go and then see what happens? And I heard she made the call of, let's go ahead and stamp this and get a copyright on it.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And that's a ballsy move, because it could go either way, right? I mean,
well, look, but a failed sex tape you never hear about, right?
That's true.
Because we've had, gosh, China. You remember China, the wrestler?
No.
Yeah, there was one of her that kind of leaked, and then she ended up doing porn later. Giorgio, our producer, is a big fan of that. Big fan of China. R.I.P. She's
that's China with China with a Y.
With a Y,
yeah,
correct.
Okay.
So it can go bad, and I sat down with the guy from Vivid in an airport one time. Ironically, we were delayed on a flight, and I asked him. I just said, look, give me everything that you've gotten and that you couldn't publish. And he goes, oh, there's awful ones that I could never publish in a million years.
Oh, like the tape is just bad, handheld guy or something?
That, and some of the content was so gross, he was just like, I don't know that anybody would want to see this. Dead serious.
Wow. And people sell that to Vivid?
They try to.
Oh, got it.
So that's their,
That's the way they're leaking it. Like, oh, it leaked. Like
100%.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So you roll in.
Well, that's definitely what the Paris Hilton dude did. That creepy dude. He made that film. I don't think it was with Vivid. It was somebody else. But it was a night in Paris or something.
Yeah, One Night in Paris.
One Night in Paris. Yeah. I don't remember which production company it was, but he definitely just went direct. There was no leak. He went directly to them and sold that motherfucker for $25,000, which is weird because he had a lot more than $25,000 already.
Yeah. It's strange.
I don't know what the game plan. I think that was his clout.
Yeah.
And you can see him. If you've never seen this, it's not. Forget about her in the porn. She's boring as fuck. Nothing exciting happens in the whole thing. But his commentary behind the scene, where he's standing in the lobby watching it on the same kind of TV that Michael Scott had in his fucking house when he lived with Jan.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like this tiny TV on the wall. And he's like smacking gun like, yeah, this is what I f***ed her.
Yeah.
He is the cringiest piece of shit that I've ever seen in my life. I'd rather hear Hulk Hogan say the N-word than listen to that guy smack gun.
Same. Now, with your sex tape, were you in a pilot outfit? Were you in the costume?
No, but I should.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you should
Yeah.
just not. You have to get one that isn't issued by the company.
Yeah.
Well, I got some uniform shirts without the wings on them.
Right.
Yeah.
A lot of my buddies who are firefighters and cops that do content do the same.
They just rip them off. Yeah.
Or they just buy separate uniforms or whatever. Yeah.
Right.
Because you are a pilot in real life, and I know a lot of people ask that, but
That's true.
you can confirm it, right?
Yeah, I can confirm that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're still flying?
Still flying.
Well, you were after this, before the show.
Right. Once this airs, that might end. But yeah.
So you weren't in the military. You took the civilian route to
Correct.
become a commercial pilot.
Correct.
Describe for you, because that's most of the people we know, because we're all military people.
Right.
That's how we know people becoming pilots. So how did you?
There's a lot of military guys that were military, but were not able to get a flying slot.
Right.
That then had to come out
Yeah.
and do it the civilian route, right, with their GI Bill or whatever. But
Right.
yeah, you got to go through flight school, and then it's just
Is that like a college or is that like something separate? Because
there's a couple different ways you can go through colleges like Purdue or Embry-Riddle that they're just specifically for aviation. You can do it that way, or you can just go to like a mom and pop flight school, and have a flight instructor and
Yeah.
he signs you off. You do your exams and
you
honestly,
have to start on like smaller, because mom and pop places don't have 747s. I imagine.
well, no flight school has a 747
Right.
to start with. Yeah. You're starting the same small plane, really. It doesn't really matter if you go to a very expensive flight school or you go to mom and pop. A lot of people think, oh, I'm going to go to the expensive flight school. It's going to make me better. It's not like, if you go to Harvard Law, you're going to probably be a better lawyer because you're going to have better professors and et cetera, et cetera. In flight school, it's really about like how hard are you going to work, the effort you put in after the fact. So it's a little bit different.
So you go to flight school,
Yeah.
right? And you're getting checked out on smaller, like single engine aircraft. And shit like
Correct,
that.
yeah.
And
And
then
then-
what's the next step after that?
Once you get all that, you'll get a multi-engine in a small plane, like a four-seater, and then it's just all about building flight time.
Yeah.
Because to get to any airline in the U.S., you need 1,500 hours, or 1,000 to 1,500 hours, depending on the type of school you go to. So
And how long does that take?
depends how hard you work. A couple years.
I mean, there's a lot more FAA regulations on how much time you can spend in the air and how much time you need for rest, even in flight school now, right?
Yeah,
So-
I think they've changed it. I mean, for airline pilots, obviously it's highly regulated,
Right.
what you're allowed to do and the amount of crew members that you need. With flight schools, it's a different set of rules as far as how much you can go fly. But the thing is imagine being outside in a plane right now, how hot it is outside, and limited AC or no AC, because some of the planes are built in the 70s or early 80s.
Right.
It's so hot and draining on your body.
Yeah, no.
So
It's like driving a fucking NASCAR. People think that's not work. Motherfucker, it's work.
yeah.
It's like 120 degrees on that track.
Right.
Yeah.
So you'll get in there and you'll just be sweating for an hour and a half. Then you get out and then you grab some water and then a new student comes in and a lot of times flight instructors say, I'm sick of people trying to kill me because you're trying to learn how to fly. It's dynamic.
Being a flight instructor seems like a really bad idea.
Yes.
Like we've defeated gravity. I'm going to teach other people to defeat gravity.
Yeah.
I'm all set on that.
And I had a kid that I lived with in college. He was the youngest one to receive his pilot's license in the state of Ohio, and he was 14 years old.
Right.
And I was like, who f***ing flew with you for at 12 to get that thing?
Well, you can get your private pilot license. You just need, I think it's 40 hours of flight time.
That's it?
That's
Yeah.
it. That's private pilot. So you can do nothing except fly by yourself or with somebody else. You can't.
Oh, that's what he was doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you
You
can.
want to talk about the most money move of all time? He was flying girls out on dates in college, and it was like, how do you beat that?
Right. No, that's big money.
Yeah. Well, he had a fucking rich, mom and dad who got him that plane.
Right. I mean, it depends on your plane, right? I sat next to a guy on a flight a couple days ago on a commercial flight. I was just a passenger, and we were talking. He has a huge software company. I saw him reading this checklist. I said, "What's that for?" He goes, "Oh, I'm thinking about buying a plane." Now I'm in uniform, so we started talking aircraft, and he said, I started the software company. I'd met this girl and I took her out on this date and we were going to go up to, I think, Napa. And he goes, we're flying and it is just crappy plane. And she's looking out the window and like cars are driving faster than us up the freeway, and he's just like, this is going like terrible. But he goes, I tried so hard. Then we land, we go get food. The plane breaks down. He's got to like go fix the plane, and he drops her off. He goes, I'll never hear from her again, right? And so he tells me they've been married for like 25 years now. He goes, she said, I tried so hard. She was just like, felt bad for me. So she gave him another shot. I was like, good for you. It's expensive. You have a private plane?
Really expensive.
Very expensive.
Yes. And again, you need some form of money behind you to do it. Like all my friends that have it now, because a lot of people, as they get older, they get rich and they're like, oh man, I'd love to fly.
Right.
And so they get I'm sure you deal with these all the time.
Yeah.
And it's, they go, oh man, it's great. You see the pictures on Facebook and everything else.
Right.
And you're like, oh, congratulations. That's awesome. Somebody else is taking care of all of that shit. It's like a boat where you drop it off and you're like, great. Why don't you wash, clean it, and gas it the fuck up, put some food and drinks in it, and I'll see you next time, whenever that is.
And there's a lot of maintenance that goes into that.
Yes.
Everything airplane is like 5 times the cost.
Yeah.
Yeah. You need a tire? Oh, normally it'd be like $150. It's $700. And you're like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Luckily, you can just steal the tires off other planes. I don't know why there isn't more airplane piracy. You know what I mean? Like pull a plane up to another plane. You've got a gang of dudes, fly a fucking black flag up. Just walk across the wing. It's not hard.
It's well, we found that out yesterday. Yes, it is. Don't take a C-17 out of Afghanistan.
Yeah, you're hanging on to.
That doesn't work out.
As it's gaining altitude. You have to already be.
Oh, on the ground?
Yeah, you have to be on a respirator at that level.
I would imagine just jacking the plane. Do you have to jack it up, the tire, to put it up on something to change it?
To get the tire off?
Yeah. When you call AAA when your tire goes out on a plane, right? Do they jack that fucker? How does that work?
So on my work plane, there's a huge hydraulic jack they come into there, and they need like 5 guys.
And this is why I'm saying you can't just steal a tire.
But you're talking about a small plane, right? Or are you talking about like my type of plane?
Oh,
okay.
Yeah, small plane, you could probably get a couple dudes and just lift it up. I mean, they don't weigh but like, 1,500 pounds.
Yeah.
You could just have some guys loosen the tires and just probably lift it up and yank the tire out.
What do you squat that you can do that? Like you personally?
When I was going to the gym all the time, probably like 225.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You never had a football team at your high school flip a car over because.
Oh no, we've
did that a lot.
We flipped it over, burned it. Did that in college as well. But homeboy was flying from Columbus to Cincinnati, and there was a nice restaurant there, and that was his move.
And that's a money move.
Yeah.
I mean, especially if you got a nice plane, because
flying from Columbus to Cincinnati is not a money move.
It's money because it's special.
Flying from anywhere in Ohio to anywhere else in Ohio is not special.
But you're flying. It's the sunset. Not everybody gets to do it. So it's like, look at me.
I get that part of it.
Corn. You're flying over the fields and all that stuff. The scenery's beautiful. Where you're like, oh, this is the Midwest. You know, this is great.
You stop too soon.
Because here's the thing. What else is every other dude? Oh, get in my car. Let's go over
here.
So this is something that's unique.
Yeah.
Look, I mean, then I guess the added benefit is if you find out she's a communist, you can throw her out.
Yeah, you could if you wanted to.
I don't think you can do that.
Oh, you can't legally. You can't do that anymore.
Legally, you can't. No.
Okay.
Well, see, the laws that I obey are the physical laws of the universe.
Oh, okay. Then that works. There's somebody that there was recently. Obviously, you know about the people getting taped up on the plane, right?
Yeah.
So before that, there was.
That's hilarious, by the way.
Right.
Every time that happens, I laugh. I don't care what the circumstance.
Well, yeah. Where's the air marshal? Like, why does it take a stewardess or a stew, as they call the male ones, right?
Right. Yeah.
To duct tape you to the seat. Where's the air marshal?
Not every flight has an air marshal, though.
Really?
And the air marshals, I don't know, I mean, on where to draw the line as far as what I say, but they make their decision as far as when it's safety of flight, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
If it's someone just being a dick to the flight attendants, they're just going to be, okay, that's not my problem, right? I'm eating my sandwich, right? But someone's trying to breach the flight deck.
Or that kid trying to kick the fucking window out. That's probably not a good idea.
Yeah, that's never going to work.
There's an air marshal on every flight I'm on.
Coincidentally?
It's me.
Yeah.
It's me. Anytime anybody even breathes the wrong way, I stand up and I yell, I am the law, like Judge Dredd, every single time. I growl at them. I get right in their face.
You have to. You have to. Let's get down to brass here, okay?
All right.
Why is every flight getting canceled? Dan and I can't go anywhere.
I heard that. I heard you guys had some problems.
No, not problems. Every single flight is
actually
canceled.
Last weekend, my flights there and back, both on time, normal flights.
Okay.
Really?
The first 2 in a row in probably 2 years for me.
Yeah.
That's weird because I fly all the time. I was listening to you guys the other day and you guys had the American flight and cancels and all that.
Yeah.
I fly all the time. I fly an American all the time. I never, ever have any problems. And I'm all over the world and I never have any problems. So it could be you guys.
Well,
and the other 500 people at the airport. So here's the thing. So when COVID broke out, everybody thought this is going to go on for a while, and including myself. I mean, I do when I'm flying passengers, it's pretty limited, but we'll do special charters for sports teams. We do a lot of military charters for troops and things like that. But the vast majority is freight, right? So I thought, well, this is not going to affect me that bad. But for the passenger airline, they decided, okay, well, we're going to let these older guys take an early retirement because this is going to be a while before it gets back to normal.
Right.
So a lot of guys took that because if you looked at that era at the very beginning of this is going on, it seemed like this was going to be a while, right? Mm-hmm. So a lot of these guys that are 62 and over were able to take an early retirement. They let a lot of flight attendants say, hey, we can take like a year leave of absence or 2-year leave of absence. Nobody was hiring anything, all that stuff. But then it just snapped back so aggressively with the amount of people and the demand for flying.
Right.
You can't just, it takes several months to train a pilot. One pilot. So you can't just snap back. So the demand came back so fast that nobody was ready for it. So the demand came back. Now you have planes that are having to get pulled out of the desert. You have the maintenance on those. You have the flight attendants. All my friends that are flight attendants, they're like, we are working like so much overtime right now. And then, then when you have all that demand, the maintenance doesn't get taken care of because you have so many planes that are flying and they're not having that sit time to repair them. So then the plane breaks. Now you have a crew stranded, which means the next flight that crew is going to be on, it just gets on and on and on.
Yeah, because so Alex Guerrero, like I was saying, was here on Sunday, and he was listening to the show when I got back from Iowa about the flights being canceled and everything else. And he goes, man, I hope that doesn't happen to me. And I go, I don't know anybody who's made it recently. So I dropped him when I dropped him off at the airport. I got a text 5 hours later, and he goes, still here. And he said, and here's what we've heard over and over and over again. And this happened to you, Dan, as well. This was his situation. They just got on and they said, hey, we don't have a pilot and we don't have a crew.
Well, it was like the crew is going to time out by the time they make your flight.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So yeah, if you have a certain work day that you're allowed to do, there's a certain hours in the day that you work, and then there's a certain limit as far as for the hours that you're actually on the plane operating. So you have the limit on two things. So if you start off and your first flight goes fine, and then, I don't know, your second flight has a big problem, now your third flight's going to have a problem.
Right, yeah.
So, or you get stuck with weather, or that's why in the wintertime there's so many problems. You will have a delay for weather in New York, and then you're going LA to Phoenix, but that plane was going to come from New York, so now they're scrambling for a plane. So wait till the wintertime if they don't.
I'm convinced I'm going to die on a plane.
Build more planes, man.
Yeah.
Also,
I am for real.
Let's get rid of stews in general and just go on the honor system.
Yeah, but just put Chianti in every single row, and it's honor system.
Or
hey, just tell me how many glasses you've had.
Well, right now you just get pretzels and a water.
Oh, you get nothing. It's like Afghanistan over there, like on the fucking flights. Like you get nothing.
So they got like pretzels and a water. So you could just leave it in the middle, like Hunger Games style.
Did you see that? Did you see that flight last night? Pull that up if you can. It was what were they on?
C-17?
No. There were 620 people.
Oh, in the back.
Yes.
Yeah. I did see that.
All
picture.
sitting together. I didn't even know that was a real thing.
That may have been a 130 because I think 130s have a seating area of 100 that they build into that middle part, right?
Yeah, but I don't think you could fit
When you
600
deployed?
people.
Yeah.
Yeah. There it is, right there.
That middle part.
You couldn't fit that. You couldn't. That's not a C-130 on the inside.
that's
So
definitely
what is this?
That might be a C5.
Yeah, that's got to be like a C5 because that's not. I mean, you couldn't fix 600 people in a C-130.
No, a C5 will fit 3 Abrams tanks end to end, but that's it.
Okay.
So that's like what, 90 feet maybe? That's a C5 probably.
That's what it's like flying today, and you get no food, you get no beverage. You've got to wear a mask. If it comes down just below the tip of your nose, sir, we're gonna turn the way around. You're gonna fucking get blah 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 blah.
Well, it's tough for the flight attendants, right? Because
you don't want to be on a crew where somebody is videotaping somebody with their mask off,
right?
And then you get lit the up by the organization for it. God, it's so stupid.
It sucks for the flight attendants because they're there, and it's like I'm sure there's flight attendants that don't want to be doing this either, or be the mask police. But if they get recorded and there's a photo, and that person tweets it to American, and then they go, "What's the flight number?" Then the whole crew gets called in. Now that crew has, it's like it sucks.
I'm not going to get mad at the pilots or flight attendants.
They're just trying to do their job
any more than I'm going to get mad at people who work at Target for the fact that it closes at 10 p.m. or whatever.
Right.
Like, can you imagine standing outside? Open the goddamn doors, man! Like, shut the f and go home, dude. You knew the rules.
No lie, though, I think I'm going to die on a plane.
Wow.
I've had so many problems on them. One time, a stewardess got knocked out. It dropped so fast, she hit her head on the fucking ceiling.
Okay.
And they had to pull drag her legs back and get her, her buddies.
Did they duct tape her to a seat?
Close.
I mean, what if it happens again?
They had to hold on to her. That's what I didn't know. But there was a moment, and somebody else had said this on another podcast. I want to say it was Theo Vaughn or somebody like that. I forget who the guest was. But who people are and what they're doing. I mean, because people are fucking screaming and like some things came down from the ceiling. And me, for whatever reason, there was just like a calmness to it of like, oh man, after all these delayed flights and everything, like
this is it.
This is exactly what I expected. And the weird thing is like I had a drink and like obviously it was flying everywhere.
Right.
I had the fortitude to grab it and hold on to it. One, two. Nice. I had one last like gulp of it, and I was like, well, let's go take it. Never felt calmer in my life, and I ended up living.
Well, I mean, in that scenario, what could you really do?
Not exactly 100%.
What could you really do?
So we've talked about this numerous times, Dan and I, on the show. Of could you masturbate in that period of time before it crashes and hits the ground and you die, right?
Yeah.
If you're at 35,
one guy we had a guest on who said he was convinced he could do it. And I was like,
maybe
no, you couldn't.
If you're at 35,000 feet in a 747 or 37, how long is that free fall before you hit the ground?
Are you talking like wings come off?
Dead.
No. I mean,
because I don't know. Let's say the engines are gone, but the wings are still there.
If the engines are gone, you got, I don't know, an hour. I mean, you can
coast for a while.
Yeah, there's a long.
Well.
There was a 330 once that they had a fuel leak. They were going to Europe, across the ocean, and that's kind of where is like it's the highest risk of having a fuel leak because you got to get somewhere to land. You're in the middle of the ocean, so they had a fuel leak and they ran out of gas. And they ended up coasting for like 45 minutes, 50 minutes, and ended up landing at a military base.
Holy
Yeah. So now wings come off. What's that?
Yeah, wings come off. What do we got?
What's terminal velocity? That's it. Terminal velocity of a plane.
I'm asking the guy that's trained on the fucking aircraft.
Okay.
Yeah. What do you think? Yeah. What do we got?
Do some math.
How long do we have?
Yeah, I don't know. You probably got a couple minutes, probably 3-4 minutes.
There you go.
So,
could you do it? 3-4 minutes. Everybody's done that.
I mean, have you done a halo jump before?
No.
Okay.
No, but I've jumped from. Let's see.
So if you do a halo jump, it'd be what, 6 minutes, right? Roughly.
Yeah.
So if you did it, I'm guessing the plane's going to be a little bit more aerodynamic. So I'm saying half that. So
okay,
that'd be my guess.
Yeah, 3-4 minutes, then yes, it's possible. That's absolutely possible.
Yeah, you could do it. I mean, it's going to be
a lot of focus.
Yeah, you got to be, and you have to have the foresight to be when this happens, like.
Oh yeah.
The rules don't matter. Like someone's eating their pretzels next to you, but you don't care. Yeah. Like you're just. Here we go. I
looked at everybody else's reactions though around, like everybody was just screaming and crying and and I was like, all right, cool. It felt like I was in a movie like in Garden State when he gets on the plane, his parents are dead, right? And you're just like, oh, yeah. It was wild.
But you know what's funny is that like everyone in the back is screaming, but the door, that separation, that door, and we got our headphones on and stuff. We can't even hear all that's going on. People are freaking out. We don't know.
That was my next question. Yeah. So you have no idea.
I mean, we know that. Hey, this was really turbulent, so people are going to be startled, right? Mm-hmm. But
what if you wanted to hear it? That's the only way you can. The only way you can get off is to hear them.
I could like reach and open the door and like take my headphones off and listen. Like that's what I wanted to hear.
It's about 2 minutes of free fall from 28,000. So from 35, it'd be probably about 220, 230.
That was a pretty good guess, huh?
Yeah. So I would say 3 minutes, probably in an airplane.
3 minutes, okay,
and then that's plenty of time.
Yeah, it's plenty of time. That's plenty of time.
That's longer than you last.
Exactly. There's another time though where I took off deliberately in a horrific situation, and they asked people they were like, "Hey, are you sure you guys want to do this?" And
the pilots asked the passengers.
The stewardesses did when we walked on, and it was a hurricane. A hurricane was coming or supposedly. They had kind of guessed what the cone was that was coming to New Orleans, and they'd canceled the flights for the rest of the nights and everything else. And they were like, "This is the last flight out of there." I got on with my wife, and we were like, "F it, it was with the Rolling Stones anniversary." And we were like, "Let's just do it."
So here's the thing: the pilots, at the end of the day, they have all the up-to-date weather information, and we don't want to die.
Right.
So that's the thing that when people are like, "Oh, but I'm scared," and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, the pilots who are trained in this, who've been doing this for years, they don't want to die either. Mm-hmm. So we're not going to go fly. I've flown into hurricanes coming into Texas and other things like that. And I got a radar. I have all the stuff. I have air traffic control who's giving me live information. Some planes have a live feed with the weather mapping. So we can see everything. And at the end of the day, we're not going anywhere we think hey, this isn't going to work out, right? You know what I mean?
I wish I would have known this. So I get on, everybody else, I think it was 4 people total, right? So it was me, my wife, and then like 2 other strangers like in the back. And afterwards, like I was so grateful to the pilot because it was windy and rainy and all that other stuff.
Right.
And I was like, thank you. You were amazing. This was amazing and everything else. And he shook my hand and gave me like the nice like fatherly sully look of like, no problem, sir. But you're telling me that he knew all along and was just fucking willing to hear my bullshit.
The crew probably were like, you sure you want to do this? Because they just wanted to go to the hotel and go party or relax. Is probably what was. They're like, are you sure you want to do this? Because
Probably.
this is going to be like a 47-hour overnight here. We kind of want to stay, right? So that's probably. Where were you at? Where were you flying out of?
I was flying from Wilmington, North Carolina to New Orleans. And the hurricane was coming into New Orleans. And it did ended up coming in.
It wasn't Katrina.
No.
Okay.
No.
We're going in. No.
Come on.
I flew into...
I'm not Sean Penn, brother.
I flew into Hong Kong a few years ago when this massive... it's not, they don't have it called a hurricane. It's what's the other one?
Typhoon.
Typhoon. Yeah. So there's a typhoon coming. And then I get this message, hey, Kelsey, we need you to fly this and you're going to be the last flight into Hong Kong. I'm like... What? Like, it's hitting in like a few hours. They're like, we got time to get you in, and then you're gonna land, and then we're gonna run you to the other side of the airport and commercial you over to Taiwan. I was like, really? Okay.
You don't want your operator to have the phrase "the last anything."
Yeah.
Right. That.
We did it. We flew it in. We landed. We ran over to the other side of the terminal, and we flew out. And I spent like 3 days in Taiwan. Just let Hong Kong get beat up, and then I don't remember what happened.
Now, is Taiwan a country, or does China own that? Okay. Because I saw the John Cena video, and I didn't know. I was kind of confused.
I think the Taiwanese say that it's their own country, and I think the Chinese say that it's their country. I don't know. The people in Taiwan are super nice, though. When I was over there for 3 days,
I heard it's lovely.
Super nice.
Yeah.
And they were super into aviation, super nice. Well, I was there, and you just walk around, and people are. I didn't have any issues at all with anybody there. So it was, and it's a normal layover. I stayed in the same hotel. There was a KLM crew that was there, so a bunch of people went out. So it was.
I'm asking because I've never actually been over there. I've never been to Asia.
I've got a lot of beefs with people in Taiwan, but they're all personal. It's no business stuff.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
Or politics. It's just personal beefs.
Is that why the kung fu sticks here? Or,
kung fu sticks, huh? Nunchucks, I believe, are Japanese, not Taiwanese or Chinese.
They're not called the kung fu sticks anymore, huh?
No, at least kung fu is actually Chinese, so that part of it makes sense.
Well, they own Taiwan, right? So that part makes sense as well. I've always wanted to go over there, but I've never been. Because I heard Japan's amazing as well.
Japan's lovely, yeah. I mean, they're so organized, they're so clean, they're so honest, so fast and efficient. And the thing that's really impresses me about the Japanese culture is that regardless of where you are in as far as for your job, whether you're cleaning a floor or you're a surgeon, everyone tries to do their very, very best job with pride. And that's what's impressive. So there's a lot of pride that they take no matter where they are. And you still see kids going to school with backpacks by themselves. It's very safe, super clean. The weird thing is there's no trash cans anywhere in the street. So it's a cultural thing. You take your trash home with you. So I usually go out when after I land somewhere, I'll go walk around and I'll have a bottle of water because I'm just dehydrated from 14 hours into the plane, and so I'll just go walk around and I finished drinking with a bottle of water and there was no trash cans anywhere. So I ended up talking to a friend of mine that was Japanese. I was like, I couldn't find a trash can. He's like, yeah, no, culturally you take your trash home. But there's no trash in the streets anywhere.
Wow.
Here, there's trash cans every 10 feet, and people just throw it on the ground. It's like there's a trash can right there.
In San Francisco, you can piss in the streets. So
literally, yeah. They got an app for it.
Yeah.
A map.
Yeah.
Whoa, what?
Of the best places.
No, of just where it is, like live. Uh-huh. It's like a poop app.
Yeah, it's
like,
a poop app.
There's like 4 poops on 4th and Main.
That doesn't exist.
Yes, it does.
It's Waze for.
Yes. Yeah, it's a thing.
Are you fucking kidding me?
No, that's California now, my man.
God,
that's California. You got to get that app.
I got to look it up.
Yeah. Even though we're not going to San Francisco anytime soon, wouldn't it be nice to know how many people are in the streets? Yeah, on Haight-Ashbury, it's like, there's 34
just for data's sake. Yeah.
The app is called Snapcrap.
Oh, see?
Snapcrap.
And it lets you take pictures of poop on the sidewalks and report it.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. Are we allowed to show the pictures of it?
I mean, it's just poop.
Probably not, right? I don't know. This is why we don't have any YouTube subscribers.
It could be. Yeah. Usually poop is not a huge thing that people want.
Well, it's
on YouTube, it's a fetish, though.
In Germany.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, in Germany it is.
It's huge in Germany.
Scat porn
Just
is
like
massive over there.
David Hasselhoff.
Scat porn.
And
yeah.
mostly.
Two poops, one street, something like that.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
there's some options.
There's a lot of options out there.
Do you remember ratemypoo.com?
Oh, yeah.
It was like Hot or Not, but for
Yeah.
hilarious.
We had
I don't know about that.
Oh, you do?
No.
For real?
Rate my poo? No.
Yeah, because I've heard pilots are disgusting, like behind the scenes. Like hilariously disgusting, where they're just like, hey, dude, I did this.
It's funny because there's a dark sense of humor that pilots have that, you know, there's a lot of people that are afraid to fly. So you can't really show that dark side. But I was doing a flight, before I was an airline pilot, I used to fly corporate jets, private jets, right? So you can be a little bit more lenient. And anyways, I was flying some people. We were on this corporate jet. I'm standing there. This guy's walking up the steps. He takes 2 steps up and he looks at me and he goes, "You sure this thing's going to get back on the ground?" I said, "It's getting on the ground one way or another." And he was like, "Okay, good." What? Like,
You should end every like every time you come over the intercom, like, "All right, folks, you're going to fucking blah, blah, blah. Good luck." And just like hand the thing up and don't answer the phone anymore.
yeah, that's not how that would go. Yeah, you'd do one flight of those. You'd get a bunch of reports. You'd be fired.
But it's kind of like Southwest. They do those fun, flirty things.
They
where
don't
it's
do,
like,
hey, we 50-50, we might make it. No, they don't.
What they do is way worse.
But that's the flight.
If somebody sings to me one more goddamn time.
But that's the flight attendants. The pilots aren't on there like, hey, 50-50 chance we're making it in. Like, there's a difference. They let the flight attendants have the fun. The pilots are still got to fly their plane, right? There's a thing even where it's an old thing, because obviously when back in the day when you fly, you would land on a field. And to this day, pilots still call it field. So there's even some training I remember having saying, don't say field, because people think we're not going to an airport, we're landing in a field.
Isn't
like,
Dallas Love still called Dallas Love Field?
it is, yeah.
yeah, but I mean,
Yeah.
pilots say, hey, field in sight, or hey, do you got the field?
Yeah.
So that they don't call it an airport. So it's a habit, and you get it from all the way through flight school, and pilots still say it. So that they say when you're an airline pilot, stop saying field. Like, hey, we're 10 minutes out from the field. Why are we landing in field? Like, I know it sounds stupid, but
Yeah.
people.
Well, people need a little warning at the bottom of the McDonald's cup to let them know that coffee is hot.
Right.
Yeah.
So now you know you can't say field, airport.
I just wonder, I've always pictured just inside the cockpit, it's just the worst shit ever being said to each other. Do you usually know the guy?
No.
Oh, okay.
So well, I mean, it depends. So depending on the size of the airline, a lot of times you'll show up and it's you and 3 guys that you've never met, or 3 people you've never met before.
No.
So, and then but everything is very rigid. Like, you're sitting in this seat, these are your tasks. You're in that seat, these are your tasks. You're back in this seat, these are your tasks. So it's very clear.
Are you a chatty one?
It depends. Like some people, like if I don't like you, then I can be quiet. And the thing is if you're going across the ocean,
It's a long time.
It's a long time.
you're not talking to anybody.
You got to have Audible going on there.
Right, so-
Put your earplugs in.
Yeah, are you allowed to do that? Listen to an audiobook?
You're not supposed to listen to music. You can read read anything. You can read your company manuals. That really wouldn't put you
That
to
sounds
sleep.
like CQ in the military.
In the middle of the night as you
you-
cross the ocean, read the company manuals like, oh, I'm so awake.
You need to have your iPad up there watching a fucking movie.
So
or something.
I've heard stories of guys where when the sun's in your face, we got these sunshades for like your car, right? So there's guys, they'll just black out the flight deck, and then they'll just put an iPad up on the deck on the dash and just watch movies go across.
That's great.
Yeah, because you can't do anything anyways. Like, by the time you saw a plane, if you were in a head-on collision,
No, you would see it on radar way before.
you would see it on radar, and
Way
air traffic
before that.
control's there. And
Yeah.
if there was be something that would show up in your face at that speed, you're not gonna do anything. Anyways.
Not if you're in the clouds, especially.
Right.
You're not gonna see anything. You're flying just with
Instruments.
with instruments. Just,
Right.
yeah.
And then as you go across the ocean, it's all super rigid. You're like, you get given a specific speed, altitude, and all this stuff, and then off you go.
Yeah. What about the ones who like to talk over the microphone a lot? Like, are you that guy, or do you know those guys?
On the PA system?
Yes.
Oh, no, I'm definitely not that guy.
Okay.
I'm talkative to the guy that I'm with when we're flying. Because sometimes you're just hanging out. It's just like 5 hours and you're getting along and you're having a good time. It's pretty cool, right?
Yeah.
taking shots.
Yeah.
Sure.
Denzel Washington it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But the guys that there's the guys that do the PAs, and hey, we're taking off and then we're crossing over Jacksonville, then we're going to go over New Orleans. I don't do that.
If you look out to the right side of the aircraft, you'll notice that we're going towards the earth right now, and I can't control it. See in hell,
I've only a few times that I've said, hey, look out. Like I saw, what was it, the Google balloon? Have you seen that Google balloon?
Oh, yeah.
I saw one of those. I heard air traffic control say something to somebody about it, and then we were flying, and then I saw it, and the right side of the aircraft could see it as we were coming up. I said, from the flight deck, hey, on the right, for those of you on the right side of the plane, in about 2 minutes, you're going to see the Google balloon. So just like look out the right side, and I was like, and if you're on the left side of the plane, you got a field. Like,
you got nothing.
Like, you got nothing. So
they should do like a whole season of Impractical Jokers only on commercial airlines.
Oof. I don't know. Not anymore. Like today, flying has become...
It's very serious now.
Yes.
The sense of humor is gone. Gone, yeah. My aunt was a flight attendant from like the 70s, 80s, and 90s when it was like, that was really fun. It was just people were way more relaxed.
When Jackie Brown was smuggling cocaine back from Mexico,
yes,
brother.
Right. Dude. Those girls used to party too.
Yeah.
My aunt told me that when she'd land in LA, obviously at that time flight attendants were, I should show you a picture of what she looked like when she graduated, but they had the real high little skirt, knee-high boots, and they did nail checks and weight checks. It was stressful, but she said they would land like in LA, and the hotel they'd go to, that movie stars and athletes like the Lakers would hang out in the lobby of the hotel knowing, hey, the flight crews are coming in at this time, and then they would try to chat them up and try to take them out on dates that night in LA. That was like how it used to be in the 70s and 80s.
Well, damn it. I don't even wish it was that way now.
I really missed my window. Then
Free
flying
dinner.
cargo would suck, right? Like, yeah.
Now being a pilot, everybody just hates you. Like, you're the mother. Because now everybody associates pilots with commercial air travel, which sucks now.
Right.
Yeah.
But being a pilot in the U.S. is different when people find you're a pilot in other places.
Like, for sure.
You're in Japan and you're a pilot, and it's very well respected versus here, not so much.
It's weird though. It switched, and it switched during like a certain time frame. Because you go back to like Catch Me If You Can. Amazing. When pilots walked through the airport with the stewardesses and everything else, it was like, oh, guy's a pilot, dude. That's a big deal.
That's legit. Right?
Now you look at it like,
because there were
Dan
7
said.
of them back then.
But like you said, now you look at it and you're like, that motherfucker's late, dude.
He's not even walking fast.
No. It
He's not even trying. He's not even trying. Yeah. I get people walk up to me all the time like I'm in uniform. They're like, hey, do you know anything about? I'm like, I don't. How would I know? Like we're in Chicago O'Hare. I don't know where the flight to Jacksonville goes. Like
you got the entire internet in your hand right now, brother.
So
just say A17 all the time. Yep, A17. There you go, sir. There you go. Enjoy it.
It's tough. It's tough as a crew member. Obviously for the flight attendants, when we would be delayed. When I flew passengers all the time before I went over to cargo, when we'd be delayed, I would always stand, when you walk in the plane and to the left is the flight deck, I would stand in that doorway and just talk with that flight attendant that was up there. Because if I was there, people would not be nearly as lippy. If I'm sitting up at the flight deck and it's just a flight attendant, you guys would get on and be like, just, hey, we've been delayed. How long is this going to be? But if you're standing there, they don't give you the lip like they do the flight attendant. So I'm not sure why people think it's okay to just smart off to them. But when I was there, they didn't do that. They just look at me and they go, okay. Like
pilots should have Uzis, bro.
Well, they
Seriously.
They have the FFDO program. You know about that? So, but it's not Uzis.
No, it's I think it's an MP7 actually now, if I'm not mistaken. The Glock and an MP7.
But an Uzi would be sweet though, wouldn't it?
Well, the military aircraft, it's a Glock and an MP7, right?
Well,
is that right?
When I do military charters, when we're doing military planes, everybody's got their weapon. So it was weird. One of the first military charters I did, they land, they get off the plane, and it was just a stopover. Every few hours they got to stop and get off the plane. It's, I don't know, military rules. So we were doing a briefing. I sat down up in the first class area. We did the briefing with the whole crew. I sat down and kicked something. I looked down, and it's an M16 sitting on the ground. I'm like, that's different. Like, not what, I was flying passengers only for a normal airline before that. That's not normally what you kicked down there.
It's a safe flight.
Yeah.
Very safe flight.
Right? Yeah, no one's...
Well, that's actually not true because they're a bunch of drunk knuckleheads, and they all have steel core ammo and not frangible rounds, right? So it's not the safest thing of all time. But it's safer than a... No, it's probably not safe, actually. Now that I think about it, I'm thinking about myself on an aircraft with an M4 walking around. That's probably not safe.
Yeah, but you're not going to have, unless all those guys turn on you, they're not going to breach the flight deck and do something.
No.
So that's what I mean. Like,
how big of a hole would have to happen for that to be a real problem? You know what I mean?
a hole on the inside of the plane?
Yeah, like if you fired a round, a 5.56 round through the side of the plane, how big does that hole have to be for it to start becoming a real problem?
Pretty big. Yeah, like, if you
like even for a parachute, we're taught to jump, like clear the aircraft, get out of the plane, right? Count to 4, then look up, and you're trying to make sure that your risers are straight, and you're also looking for a hole in the parachute that's bigger than your head. If it's not bigger than your head, you ignore it.
Okay.
So it's got to, for a plane, it's got to be way bigger.
It's got to be much,
right?
yeah. So you always see in the movies, like the guy shoots off a round and then it just blows open this massive hole, and the planes are always being pressurized. These things are not balloons. There's air leaking all the time, so the plane's continually being pressurized, and so people think one little thing is just going to just rip the hole open, right? So there was the Southwest where the engine had that uncontained failure, and that shot part of the metal into the plane, and that ripped a pretty big hole. But even that didn't just like rip the whole side of the plane off, right? And that was a pretty decently sized hole.
Is there a procedure for closing the hole, or do you just go mask up and just get everybody on the ground?
Yeah, no. Once you'd have a rapid depressurization, so you just put your mask on and then get to 10,000 feet as quickly as you can, and then that way.
Then figure it out from there, probably.
And then it's just go land somewhere. Yeah. So.
Have you ever had a landing and the people tell you about it that are on the flight?
So
nice job. As they're walking by.
I've had some hard landings before, of course.
Well, if you hit a thermal pocket 15, 30 feet from the ground or something.
Yeah, I mean,
how do you even, there's nothing you can do about something.
Yeah, I mean, you can be, I mean, there's things you can do, but yeah, you just like anything, you got to have some mistakes. Otherwise, you're never going to learn, right? So I've had some hard landings, and typically you'll notice if someone has a really hard landing, the flight deck door doesn't open. So normally when it's a smooth landing, you'll see the captain or the pilot up there like, hey, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, have a good day, you know, because they're looking for that validation, right?
Sure.
Because, you know, low egos. So but if you really slam it in, like you just want to let everybody get off the plane, and then the flight attendants will say like,
hey, bro.
The reason...
Get your shit together.
The reason I asked about that is to address the gun thing, especially, is to address some of the stupid assumptions people have about what could happen in an emergency situation on an airplane. And the reason I'm curious about that is because that's your most watched video, the one you referenced before about you're talking about TikTokers, right?
Right, yeah.
With these, I mean, the movie scenario things are really interesting, but I think the one that I'm looking at here now is dumb advice.
Terrible advice.
Give me some examples of the terrible advice.
So the first one, it starts off with this girl saying, okay, so the plane's going to land, and the advice that the airlines give you is actually going to kill you. So don't, which is like, you know, bend over and put your hands on the seats and all that. Don't do that. She said, put your feet on the seat, put your head up in the air, and then just hold yourself there for the crash.
Yeah.
Okay. I wonder what she squats.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Less than the 2,500 foot-pounds of pressure that happens in a car wreck.
That's crazy.
Right. So I don't know how much gets created in a 45-mile-per-hour car wreck. It's about 2,100 pounds, I think, of pressure.
Yeah.
Right.
Like that. So people are like, put your feet on the dash, man. Yeah. If you want your femurs to break off and stab you in the face, that's a really good plan.
Which is what I had said to there. Like your teeth are just, all that's going to happen is your face is going to smash into your knees.
Yeah.
You're going to be eating all your teeth. That's all that's going to happen. So
I mean, it would cave your whole head in.
Right.
Like
but what's funny is then there was another lady after that said the same thing. Like, look at this girl's video. She does a really good job explaining stuff. And then she goes on to say a bunch of other more stupid stuff about like, it's not even built for a car accident. It's not safe enough for a car crash or something. You know, it's just like, what does this have to do with anything? And since that video came out, what I realized is that video, the first one had so many views that other TikTokers were seeing it and then just regurgitating it, not even doing any of their own homework on it. They would just, I got sent now, and because of that video did so well, so many people sent me other people who've done the exact same, hey, don't do this, do this, do this, do this, all the same stuff that she said. And I thought, wow, these guys don't even bother to even, like, you could just literally type it in to Google and it will tell you, but they don't even do that research.
Well, look, I mean, everybody on TikTok is a physicist and an engineer.
Right.
We all know that.
Right.
So just trust the science.
Yeah, I mean, look, 6.4 million views on that one video alone. Did any of the people who you were making fun of hit you up and say,
no.
Really?
Yeah.
No, because when you fucking dunk on somebody, I mean, unless you're Conor McGregor sitting on the floor with with your leg broken off, you usually don't talk upward.
That's
crazy.
And the thing is it had so many views that what ended up happening is people were going into their TikToks and other posts going like, you just got roasted, like, and then, so it was kind of like, what I'm surprised with is that they didn't take it down because they're still getting money by people finding that to talk. But they're like, well, I'm still making money on it, so they're just going to let it go.
Yeah, who cares?
But who cares about this misinformation that I'm putting out? Like,
no big deal.
Yeah, so.
That's funny.
Yeah.
I want to ask you, because I know it's in one of these videos, the Denzel Washington thing in the movie.
Right,
That's
yeah.
impossible, right? You can't barrel roll one of those things.
Well, so there was a few years ago, maybe about 3 years ago, that Q400 out of Seattle that got stolen.
Oh, you're talking about Bebo. That's my boy, dude.
Yeah, so I didn't know that you could take a Q400 and do that, right?
Yeah.
No, who would?
Well, first of all, through Christ, all things are possible.
Yes,
Go ahead and jot that
and
down.
according to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad,
also,
you can do anything as well.
So
we had a T-shirt for Bebo Russell.
When I saw that starting, I was like, "There's no way," and he got it all the way back around. I thought, wow, and I'm sure Bombardier, who makes the Q, was like, we didn't know, because I'm sure they took the black box and got all the flight data recorded and all that information, so they'd have access to all that to see G loads and all that stuff. They would have been able to see all that stuff. So, So if you had said, is it possible? Yeah, I think it's probably possible. That movie has some ties to an Alaskan flight that happened in the 90s, I think, where the horizontal stabilizer got stuck, and they did invert. They were just trying to come up with solutions. So some say they didn't do it on purpose. Some say they did do it on purpose, but they were just trying to come up with a way to.
Well, either way, the aircraft was capable of doing it.
Yeah.
So
that particular plane in real life ended up crashing and killing everybody, but there they were able to roll it. So is it possible? I guess it's possible. Like, I don't want to say no because I'm not a aeronautical engineer, but
don't you want to try it just once like Bebo did? Because you actually know how to land. He got up there and was just like, I don't know how to land this thing.
He probably could have done it. I mean, all the stuff that he was doing, it's not. He would have been, if he wanted to.
Go ahead and
survive
say
that.
it. It's not that hard to fly a plane. Say it out loud right now.
Say it right now.
Let's do it. If he wanted to land, he could have landed that. If he got that far, he could have landed that and lived. It maybe wouldn't have been a good landing. Maybe it would have gone off the end of the airport or something like that. But he could have, I think, based off of all the other stuff that he was doing, I think he probably could have made it.
Okay.
That's my guess.
What about that Navy dude that drew a dick? What's going on in the Pacific Northwest in planes, man?
Yeah.
People can't calm down. Have you ever had
the Pacific Northwest, dude? Just living there. You lose your mind.
All the clouds.
Yeah.
Antifa, all of it.
All the clouds all the time.
Yes.
Yeah, maybe.
Now if that Navy pilot had said, "Oh, I didn't even realize I was just doing a pattern and I wasn't," but I'm sure he probably copped to it, the integrity thing. But if he had said, like, "I didn't even realize that was happening.
I didn't know I couldn't do that." That's what he should have said.
No, that's not what he should have said. He should have said, "I didn't even realize that's how it was coming out. I was just doing a figure 8 pattern, and then I was just doing I didn't even realize. Oh my God! Oh, what? That's crazy. Like,
That's a dick and ball.
Had that happen? How does it even happen?"
Here's the problem. I know those guys.
Well, I do too.
And they've been drawing dicks on everything around them for 25 years now.
Right.
You can't. There's no.
I joke that pilots are like children, right? It is what it is. But I'm just saying, if they had said, "I didn't even realize that's what was coming out. I was just literally doing a figure 8 pattern," how would they prove that was not the case?
Tom Cruise has been a pilot for 40 years now.
Oh, yeah.
And he buzzes the tower all the time. He's still fine.
He's fine.
Why can't you draw a dick in the sky?
Why can't you draw?
You can. It's just frowned upon. So
Why?
he did it. He did it and it's frowned upon,
Right.
Well, because then you got to explain, people on the ground and say, "Oh, Dad, what's that up in the air?" Well, that's a penis and balls, son. Who did that? Our United States military.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
That's how that sentence ends. You're welcome. ... You're welcome.
That should be the new recruiting commercial.
Yeah.
But had that guy gone in there and said, "I had no idea that's what it actually looked like. I was just doing a maneuver."
If he stuck to it,
he would have to stick to it. But would he be able to get out of that? They'd be like, "Hey, be more aware of what's going on." But he could have got away with that.
Here's the problem, though, as a military officer, you can be called back into active service for your entire life, I think. I'm pretty sure that's the case.
For your entire life?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
Not as a non-commissioned officer or an enlisted person, but as an officer, you could be recommissioned.
Okay.
Like at a time of war or something.
Right.
And this is America, so we're always at war. So it's kind of like the thing with naval vessels. American-bound or American-based naval vessels have to have American crews and have an American flag running on it, right?
Right.
In case they can get commissioned into the war effort anytime.
Right.
Same kind of deal.
But what does that have to do with denying that you understood what was going on?
Because he'd have to deny it for the rest of his goddamn life, man. He wouldn't get the movie, he wouldn't get the books. That.
You want the glory, dude.
Or you just,
Kelsey, you want the glory,
You
brother.
just wait for somebody like Trump to get elected and get a pardon because he would think that's funny and he would
You think it's hilarious. Who is that? Who is that? Oh, it's the dick guy. Oh, yeah. Pardon him. That's great. He's a great guy. Great guy. Love his dicks. Big fan of his dicks.
Tremendous dicks.
Yes. Best dicks I've ever seen in the sky. Like that,
Right. Yeah, that's fair.
Well worth it. And you're good to go.
Yeah.
I'm just saying have a fucking game plan. That's it.
Yeah.
Hope is not a game plan.
No. Hope is something I'll go on with. Sex in the Sky, Mile High Club. Yes or no?
Try 5 miles high. 30 Rock. Nailed it.
Oh,
Yeah.
that was well done. Yeah.
Yeah.
Matt Damon.
So, what's your question exactly?
Well, I don't see a ring on your finger.
That's correct.
Was
No,
that the
yeah.
sex tape
So
that you're worried about getting leaked?
you can say.
Right. So, is it possible that it happens? Is that what you're asking me?
For you in particular.
On the flight deck or as a passenger?
Either or is fine.
I think on the flight deck would probably be easier. You got access to the cargo area and shit like that, right? From the films I've seen,
Okay.
right? And from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, who I'm quoting right now.
So you think that from the flight deck we can just drop down into where the passengers
no. You
are?
go into the back, right? And then you can go down to the cargo area in most aircraft, right?
No.
No, you can't.
Where the bags
Passenger
are?
57?
Yeah, I made it. I mean, I made the movie. You can watch it. No. So on Passenger 57, on that plane, it had a place to go down. There was a galley that did
Like
exist.
underneath the flight deck?
It was in the main body of the aircraft. There was a galley under there.
Is that a real thing?
That was
though?
a real thing.
I mean, like in an aircraft, is that a real thing?
On that plane, that type of plane, yes, that's a real
word?
on that specific plane. But on your typical, like, you're flying Southwest tomorrow, the pilots can't go to the bathroom and then like hit a button and it drops them into where all your
What
bags
about
are.
in the back?
In the back?
Like there's no access to the cargo area from inside the fuselage of the
Correct,
aircraft?
because that's where, if you had that, then people when they transport weapons and stuff, that's where it goes. That's
Right.
because no one can get there.
Oh, all right.
And there's parts of that area that are that aren't pressurized.
So what if there's
Sure.
what if there's a fire down there? How do you put it out? There's a fire suppression system. I get it, but what if that doesn't work? What if it fails? You just die.
Well,
I need access
so
all the time.
you're going to go fight the fire?
Yeah, I'll punch it right in the
Right in
face.
the face. I've seen Dan punch a fire
I've
right in the
punched
face.
quite a bit of fire.
So there's a fire suppression system. You hit it, right?
Yeah.
And so you hit that, and then you have a time limit. Maybe
Is it
it's-
dry chemicals? Do you know what they use?
Yeah, it's like a halon.
Yeah,
So
halon.
it depends. Every plane is different. Some have like a hard burst that comes out in like 1 minute, and then 60 minutes of suppression.
Yeah.
And then so you have a time limit to get on the ground.
Because you
once it
couldn't
happens.
use some of those, not the halon system. What's the one that sucks all the oxygen out? You couldn't use that because it's in a
backdraft.
pressurized cabin.
Right. So
Right.
it depends. Like on the flight deck on some aircraft, like a cargo aircraft, they have some scenarios where you could depressurize if you had a thermal runaway, because we transport
yeah.
stuff that wouldn't go on a passenger aircraft.
Like
Like
batteries, lithium.
Yeah,
batteries,
like
shit that,
I've taken imagine a 747 full to the roof with like brand new iPhones.
yeah.
So if that ran away, you're you can depressurize all you want, but you
you got a DB Cooper that bitch.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
depressurize and jump. Yeah.
You gotta hop out of that. So where did you bone then? Is what we're asking.
So
Yeah, where in the aircraft were you fucking...
Was it in the cockpit? Was it in the bathroom? Was it?
So you're asking. So if
The bathroom is too small, bro.
well, it depends.
Depends.
So it depends on your aircraft.
Yes.
If you're on a wide body aircraft, and I'm not saying that this is something anybody should do for the record.
Give me a
obviously.
list of wide body aircrafts and which airlines have them.
So a wide body aircraft is going to be an aircraft when you get on and there's 2 aisles.
Okay,
That's the
yeah.
easiest way to know.
Okay.
So your A330, your Boeing 787,
The Delta International flights.
anything that's
Yeah.
international, or right
Yeah.
now you have a lot of domestic flights that are going.
Are they just using those planes for because
they're
need
not
planes?
doing a lot of the
Yeah.
international flights. The amount of flights over to Europe or South America, whatever, are restricted, and so there's a huge demand. So you're flying
Yeah.
a 777 from Dallas to Miami, which I just did recently. So on something like that, the bathrooms are bigger, especially as you get further forward in the cabin.
Cool.
So you get into business class, it's a bigger bathroom. So that would be more spacious. If you go into a smaller plane, small bathroom, you're going to be.
So is that where you
luck.
were? Is that where you were in the bathroom? It wasn't in the cockpit?
I'm saying hypothetically, if you were to do it, that would be a better place to.
Than the cockpit.
Correct, because then if I were to do it in the cockpit, then I would lose my licenses.
Well, only if
got it,
somebody
got Yeah.
I mean,
well, if somebody found
maybe
you.
you've got a
I mean,
female first officer, and
correct.
you guys know each other. Like, hey, you know what?
I'm not saying that it's never happened.
This is a long ass flight.
Yeah.
I personally have never done that, but I'm saying you also got to remember everything's being recorded up there.
There's cameras
Is
in
it
the
really?
cockpit.
There are not cameras, but there's an audio that's being recorded at all times. So
Be real quiet.
So yeah.
Just keep it down, lady.
So you'd have to. It would have to be it couldn't be like, okay, we're starting the first 10-hour flight together. We never met, and then over the ocean we planned this thing, and then all of that happens because that would all. I mean, unless you started off with writing it out and you guys were just writing notes back and forth.
But isn't that the excitement of it? Like that's how you get down of like, hey,
but imagine,
do you want to do this?
Imagine. So you got to like plan that out, right?
quiet.
So you're on a 10-hour flight and you write her a note like, you interested in this?
Yeah.
And
Backdoor Beauty,
she's like,
question mark.
she's
What's
like-
that from? Anybody?
Backdoor Beauty? No.
Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas.
Oh,
Yes.
boy.
Terrible.
So you write that note, hour one, she's like, gross. Now you got 9 more hours. So now it's going to be.
Yeah, that's one try per hour for 9 more hours.
Yeah.
You're going to hit on one of those.
One of those is
Even
gonna
if you've only got a
land.
10% success rate, you're going to before that flight
I
lands.
agree.
I question that logic, but yeah.
That math is sound. That 1 divided by 10 is 10%.
And then you
sound.
land and she goes, the email goes sent off to HR.
Who said she was getting out of there?
Yeah.
I'm just saying, in this
This is
scenario,
getting darker.
It's super dark.
This is getting real dark.
I had heard
real dark towards the end of these shows. Sometimes we ended on like the darkest note ever. And it's
I had
just
heard
like,
that
yeah.
pilots had a dark sense of humor.
They do.
And now I'm not reaping any of the benefits from that.
Well, if you get up on the flight deck one day, then you'll get to see that.
I would never be allowed up there. Look at me. I looked like I just stormed the Capitol, for Christ's sake.
Yeah, he was looking through Pelosi's laptop with a Viking helmet on about 6 months ago. So you were in the bathroom.
Yeah.
I'm saying if you were to do that, then a better option would be in the bathroom, or there was a flight where they recorded it, where they just sat in the back row, and she just went to town on the guy, and people just recorded it, and I think they got put on the
Oh, I saw that.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
So that was on
The get fired, but the no-fly list, that's a little extreme.
I don't know that they got
lot.
put on that, but I'm guessing, or at least a no-fly list for that particular airline, right? You can
Yeah.
get put on a no-fly.
Fine with that.
Yeah.
So I think they knew, because it was daytime in a small plane, and they weren't like trying to hide it. There's a lot of where people try to hanky-panky hide it, like, can we get some blankets, and we got a whole row, and you're just trying to,
I mean, if you just hit it big
Yeah.
on AMC stocks,
Yep.
right? You're a billionaire now, but you're
Yeah.
still a pilot, and your f***ing girlfriend's a flight attendant. On the back of that plane, right?
Yep.
In broad goddamn daylight, and say
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
hey, got an announcement. We're gonna be just talk like that pilot voice. Just talk like that the whole time you're banging her.
Yeah.
Let everybody record it. Let that sex tape go out. Now you can start your fucking TikTok career, bro.
Yeah.
With that $1 billion you just made from AMC.
You got to have those long pauses in there. Towards the right. It's
gotta be about a half
my
so
balls.
you're talking about getting all the way back into like the galley area, because that's you need the phone to make the announcement. So you
Well,
got-
I would have a third
you need the phone.
person, a flight
Yeah,
attendant,
yeah.
and then she would join after, I guess.
Yeah,
In this scenario that you're saying, F the world, right? You may as well get weird with it.
But because the crazy ones, man, that like it used to be back in the day, the crazy stews.
There's some stories. There's some accidents where the captain was in the coat closet going crazy.
Yeah.
So that's what I
really
mean.
funny.
That type of stuff happened, but now if you were to do that, you would lose your license.
It used to be cigs inside too. You could smoke on the plane.
Correct.
Yeah.
There's still ashtrays on my
There's
plane.
still ashtrays on the planes.
On,
That's
on,
really
on my
weird.
flight deck, there's ashtrays on the 747. Not the newer ones that came out, but the
Isn't that kind of weird that was ever a thing? Like, I understand that smoking was seen differently back then.
Yeah.
But just filling a tube in the air with smoke seems
Yeah.
like not the
It's-
best idea.
Well, they had sections, so it was all sectioned off.
Yeah,
and it was
The little
fine.
curtain blocks the smoke, yeah.
But in the flight deck, that's not a lot of space in there. They're in
I
there
know.
just chugging away.
And the air is constantly circulating through, so I guess if you're in the front, maybe you don't smell it. I don't know.
No, it's everywhere. You're living in that.
They still have that in Asia. I had a buddy who was flying in China, and they would just smoke on the flight deck in China.
I mean, if you're a
Really?
Communist Party person, nobody in China is telling you what to do.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what if you're a powerful business person or a member of the Communist Party.
Yeah.
You can do whatever the f- you want.
Yeah.
Which would be kind of dope. Maybe we should start it here.
Maybe. We'll see how things go.
Okay.
Kelsey, you never know.
Anything could happen. No, but yeah, that flight deck, it's small. So if you're up there smoking, not comfortable.
Yeah. No, I get it.
I mean,
I get it. Are you still married now?
no, I'm single.
You're single now.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So I was never married. So
Oh, it was your buddy who got married from that one bad flight. From the private, when he was flying the girl for a date.
Oh yeah. No, that was the guy I was
yeah.
sitting next to on a plane.
Oh, got it.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
I
So you
thought
don't
that
even know.
guy.
You don't even know this guy.
I thought that guy was you.
No, he-
Or you
Oh.
were like that guy, and I was like, oh, okay, you're the guy.
You're the guy. Yeah. No.
No.
Yeah. No. That guy's been married 25 years. No. That.
So you don't even know him?
Well, I did. I sat next to him on a plane, and he told me the whole story.
It's still a stranger, though, man.
Yeah, so he could be
What's
dead.
What's
He could
his
be-
government name?
He could be dead now. R.I.P.
Yeah.
Okay.
R.I.P.
You
to
don't
him.
know?
Anything is
Just
possible.
in case he's
Brian.
dead, rest in peace out there.
Brian David Wilson. Rest in peace, my man.
I don't think that's his name. Brian Wilson was a pitcher for the.
He was also
the
in the
Giants.
Beach Boys. So,
Yeah.
either way, you're good to go. If you were going to die, right?
Yeah.
Or you wanted to go out like that, what's the craziest thing you'd do on a flight? Would you play like the Stones, like something, or like Megadeth or
You're
something?
about to have
and
that
it's just
2.5
like-
minute free fall. What's your fucking?
Well,
What's
so you're
Yeah.
saying where it's like, because see, here's the thing, like
You're going to know before they're going to know.
yeah, I mean the thing is that as a pilot, I think it's just ingrained in you that you're always going to fight to the end, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're always going to think, this is going to work out, right? So in the scenario that your wings have come off,
Wings are off.
Yeah.
The fuselage is dislodged from the flight deck. You're hurtling towards the fucking earth. What are you
yeah,
gonna do?
now.
There's no options left.
Yeah,
What do you do,
I
Kelsey?
think your main option would be to just get yourself away from the plane.
Yeah.
Right, and then go for like the free fall, and then try to get over to some trees, and then just try to. What happens if your chute doesn't open? That would be like your best bet, right? Get to some trees.
You don't want your chute to open over trees.
But if you don't have a chute, what I'm saying, your best bet would be aim towards some trees to get your feet to go feet first through some trees.
Maybe, yeah.
That's better than
To
hitting
slow
a
down.
field.
I mean, water would probably be better.
No,
but
water?
yeah.
No.
If you
No.
can break the surface tension of the water, it's better.
No.
Then, I mean, you still
Then
have to get all your
trees?
gear off. Well, no, trees are
You're
good.
saying I'm a pilot. You're talking about you're jumping out. I'm saying as a pilot, I'm now just my pilot uniform shirt, and now I've been thrust out into.
without a parachute is what you're
correct.
saying.
Yeah.
Oh,
so I'm saying-
yeah.
You guys don't have parachutes up there?
No.
Why?
Why wouldn't that?
Everybody should have a. Why
I would
aren't this-
demand it. We
why
have a
aren't-
friend, Richard Ryan. He always flies
Yeah,
with
he
a
does,
parachute.
yeah, he
Wouldn't
does.
that be creepy if you just saw your pilots like running back with? I mean,
Why aren't the chairs just fucking parachutes, man?
like with ejection seats?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, that'd be expensive.
That'd be dope as.
Who cares? Like that's necessary.
I need exhibit to show up. I want to put some motherfucking ejection seats on your
Exactly, dude.
airplane.
Your flight wouldn't be $90.
I don't give a fuck how much it costs.
And keep in mind, now if you did that, now all these people eject from this plane. Where's that aircraft? That aircraft's going somewhere.
Yeah, you just.
See you later.
That's not my fucking
not
problem.
my
is where it's
problem.
going.
That's not my problem here. So
okay.
who cares?
Not at all concerned about the fallout from my incompetence.
No, not at all, dude. Save yourself.
Okay.
Save yourself,
no,
Kelsey.
No parachutes. And yeah, so I guess I would push myself away from the plane and aim for some trees.
Definitely trees if you don't have a parachute. But
Yeah.
you're fucked either way. You may as well
Yeah.
find a tree and try to let it impale you or something.
But if you went feet first, you'd have a chance.
I'd try to tackle somebody.
Yeah.
Like
And
I'm,
use them-
I'm
use
free
them?
falling and then no, I'm not gonna live.
Well, you don't think you could
somebody's-
flip over and get on top of them and then land on their
Yeah,
body?
like if you throw
like that wrestling move where you put your ankles around their head and flip them over.
Correct. Yeah. Just land softly on them.
Or you just use them as like your shield. As you hit, you just let them take the initial
Yeah,
blow
the
and
blow.
then you go right behind them.
Maybe I don't know.
I saw that in a movie once.
I did
was-
too. Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
just thinking that would be cool to somebody just going about their day, and all of a sudden a human being slams into them, and they're just both grape jelly on the sidewalk, and nobody knows what happened.
Yeah.
That would be hilarious.
I'm sure it has happened.
That is what happened with the Ukrainian flight that got shot out of the air. The one that was going, or the Malaysian flight, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
that got shot out of the air over Ukraine.
Yeah.
The body, but was exploded by a missile in midair.
Right.
The bodies, like at least one body fell just through somebody's ceiling. It landed in their kitchen, like on their kitchen table.
Yeah.
And the rest of them just sprinkled through a field and like over a town and stuff
this
like
is
that.
what I
And I feel so bad for those pilots because obviously, anytime there's a plane crash, it's always like the pilot's fault, right? And as a pilot, you never want to die, obviously, when you're flying. But in that scenario,
Yeah, it got missiled.
you don't
Nothing you can do.
You don't even see that coming, right? Yeah,
you guys
literally.
you don't have countermeasures to the back of your commercial aircraft.
Air Al has that.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
No shit.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
That.
So they got some stuff for sure.
Damn
It's
it.
pretty cool.
I'd say what, Kelsey? This has been enjoyable. today.
Yeah.
I've really enjoyed it.
Thanks for having me down.
Yeah, this is this is a point in the show we get to the Drinkin Bro of the week, which is someone who has inspired you or helps you become the person you are today. Who would you like to give that to? What was that girl's name on that flight?
Okay, let me think here. Who's inspired me?
Full name, middle name included.
Sully Sullenberger.
Yes.
My uncle was a
Wright brothers.
was a pilot. He was a pilot and mechanic, and he when I decided to go, because he was an engineer, real crazy smart, and when I decided to be a pilot, I only knew him. He was the only pilot that I knew, and I'm not a very smart guy, so I was talking to him about it, and I said, I don't know if I'm smart enough. He's like, yeah, you could do it. Now I'm a pilot. I realize you don't really need to be that smart to be a pilot.
That's twice now he said that it's not really that hard to be a pilot.
Yeah. No, it's not.
Fucking easy.
Yeah, I got a series where I've taken people flying who aren't pilots. It's not that hard.
No.
I've flown plane before. My old company commander had one. We used to fly back and forth from Fort Bragg to Myrtle Beach and like that.
And what kind of plane?
I don't know, some fucking Cessna of some sort.
Did he let you fly and land it?
Yeah.
Yeah. See, it's not that hard.
Well, I never landed it actually, but he took me through. I'm sitting at the stick, and he's showing me the process for landing. You punch in codes, and the airfield lights up, and you just fucking land on the right spot. I mean, it's not. Well, I mean, you're measured in how you decrease your speed and altitude as you come in.
Correct.
There's like a way to do it for sure.
Yeah.
But it's not like rocket science.
It's definitely not. Yeah. No. If I can learn it, anybody can learn it. There's a skill to it. It's like there's a science to it and an art to it.
There's an art for sure, because especially if you land in the same airfields a lot or whatever, in the same type of weather environments, it probably is a bigger deal than anything, right?
Right. I mean, you're dealing with everything.
Like
you got
crosswinds,
your comms days, and you got I've landed in the start of a hurricane. So, I mean, there's...
I mean, if you're trying to land and there's a full value, what a sniper would call a full value, or a crosswind coming across, that can't be easy to keep that plane from...
Right. Well, I got a whole series, I call it Bio Debrief, where I break down what they're doing and what they did right or what they did wrong.
JFK Jr.?
JFK Jr., that's a sad story.
I know, but what did he do wrong? Did you break that down?
I haven't done that one.
Fly into a storm?
He just got... Yeah, so, I mean, part of it is when you're flying and you're not trained in flying in weather, you get in the clouds and you can get disoriented, which seems weird. It seems weird that you'd get in a cloud and get disoriented, but that's what happened. He got in the cloud and got disoriented.
Lose the horizon, yeah. I mean, but it's not weird, though, because I bet a lot of our audience has experienced this before just on a boat. If you go out on like a deep sea fishing thing and you're not awake as you get out there and you can't see land anymore, you walk back up onto the deck and you will immediately become disoriented because you can't see land. Like you can see the horizon, but the horizon is doing this the whole time.
Yeah.
Right? So if you don't gradually get used to that as you're getting away from land farther and farther, your brain gets, your inner ear gets fucked up and it'll make you nauseous. You start getting really anxious and shit like that. It's not good.
Yeah. So we got instruments to show us, hey, this is what's going on. But if you're not trained in that, which JFK Jr. wasn't, it's easy to just roll your plane upside down. Which I mean, no one knows specifically because those small planes don't have all the technology that an airliner has to say exactly what happened. But that's what they suspect is he got into the weather, was overly confident. Which is like, it's better to be humble than overly confident when you're flying. So you're overly confident and into the weather and got upside down, I guess. Ended up in the water.
Yeah. So, I just wondered if you covered, famous people and things like that.
I haven't done that story. I mean, it's because a lot of it is assumption of what actually happened, right? There's nothing to say, hey, this is the factual facts. It's like, we assume that it was this. And, people with their loved ones or something like that, I try not to get into...
I'll end it on a PG question then.
Okay.
Favorite Wright brother, Orville or Wilber?
No, Redenbacher is the third Wright brother.
So I have a whole thing on my Instagram of fake pilots.
Yeah.
Yeah. People pretending to be me on Instagram.
Sure.
And setting up dating profiles with my photos. And one of the most recent ones was Wilber. I don't know if they were intending for that to be Wilber Wright, but I'm sure.
God, that's awesome.
That's
nice. Really genius if it is. You got to hit him up and say, hey, that's me, and congratulations.
If he was thinking that, kudos, right? Yeah, well done.
Tell everybody where they can find you. Obviously, your YouTube channel is massive.
Yeah.
Do you promote Instagram and all that stuff?
I got an Instagram, 74gear, same as my channel, same on Twitter. I try to put out some pictures or stories from time to time, just when I'm out around the world. And then I do weekly videos.
Awesome. You're great at podcasting. I'm surprised you don't have a podcast.
Yeah, it's very time consuming. I got a full-time job flying planes, then making these videos. I don't have time, honestly, to do this.
Sounds like you have nothing but time in the air, my man. You could go up there from the cockpit. That's the name of your show, and then boom. Ooh. Whoever you're with, you can just interview that fucking guy.
Oh yeah, I'm sure my airline would love to know that I'm doing that in flight. Hey, Kelsey, it always sounds like you're flying. No, that's not me. Well, we have it on the voice recorder.
That's the thing. Then you don't have to hire an editor or anybody else. It's
Right.
just like, hey, give me the tapes, dude. I've landed. I've got a podcast.
Download it. We got it all set because we got pretty good mics and headsets up there.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's
Yeah.
like, hey, dude, just give me that tape and then upload it so we're good to go.
On the podcast machine.
Exactly.
Easy.
Sounds like a winner.
It does to me. Thanks for being here, man. For D'Anthony Holloway, Kelsey, and then the woman in the back. I don't know her legal name.
Yeah. Who does?
No,
Yeah.
I don't either.
R.I.P.
R.I.P. She's probably dead. And so is your buddy for 25 years. That guy, who's now married, is probably dead. For him, too. I'm Ross Patterson. This is the Drinkin Bros podcast. Good night, everyone.